beautiful friends. Welcome back to my channel, Light Fragments Oracle. And I hope that you find this content relatable. We talk about a lot of things, a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And I'm glad that you are here. So today, what are we going to talk about? Well, I got some new foundation. We're going to discuss that. I'm going to put on some makeup, and I'm going to go into my story a little bit deeper. The goal is to complete my story in 10 parts. Today is part 9. Let's begin by me telling you about the new foundation that I got in the mail yesterday. I'm very excited about this foundation because I didn't know anything about it. I watched somebody on YouTube talk about it. I've not heard it anywhere else, and I had to do my own research. Needed to move in closer. My camera is having a little bit of trouble adjusting and focusing. I'm not sure why. I think it might be that I'm not at the window anymore, that I'm in a space. So, okay, it's adjusted. So I'm going to have to be slower with how I show things on my channel. The foundation that I want to discuss today is called Bourjois Paris Healthy Mix. It is clean and vegan. It has 3 main vitamins: vitamin C, vitamin B5, and vitamin E. And this color is 55N Deep Beige. I paid $11.49 for this on Amazon. Supposedly, this foundation is a foundation that lifts your skin when you're tired. It picks your skin up. It gives you a healthy glow. It helps with tired skin. So once you do your, skincare in the morning, wash your face, put everything on, and you are feeling tired and your skin is looking tired, because let's face it, it's all connected. And when one part of that feels a little off, it can throw everything else off. And there are just times where we're not rested. So we might want to have that healthy glow. You can look this up if you want to know more about it. But yeah, it's meant for tired skin. And if you are a person that likes to have that healthy glow every day, then this will be a good foundation for you. I am very excited about using it. I don't know. The max factor is going to be kind of hard to beat right now. But there are so many products out there that we don't know anything about, right? And I like finding products that are not viral. I am like the underdog makeup personality on YouTube, because it's the underdog that doesn't get recognized. It's like pro-aging versus anti-aging. Pro-aging doesn't get recognized. The young, the vibrant gets recognized. Well, hello, people. I'm here, and I'm going to be 64, and I don't plan on going anywhere. And my guess is that all of you are here, and you don't plan on going anywhere. So why do we have to diminish aging. We don't. We can embrace it, we can love it, and we can get the most out of it, because most of us are empty nesters now. A lot of us are retired. A lot of us have an income of some sort that we can spend a little bit of money. It's not like when we're younger and we have a family and we have so much going on. So we are a huge demographic of the beauty industry. And the beauty industry needs to tap into us. The beauty industry needs to say, we need that lady or we need that guy to represent us. They've got just as much energy as those younger gals. Okay? I mean, it's not all about TikTok. It's about having been there, having lived, knowing that there's life beyond 60, 70, and 80. So that's what my channel's all about. That's what I'm talking about. So let's try this foundation, shall we? It has a pump. And I'm going to shake it first. There's a spring inside of here. Or beads. I like that. And I'm going to pump 2 pumps. One. It's liquidy. Let's try 1 pump first. Let's try 1 pump. I'm going to put it on with my fingers. And I'm going to stipple it on with my foundation brush. And then I'm going to pounce it in with my wet sponge. Let me put my hair up, gals, guys, youth. Let me just get my bangs out of the way. Got to look nice for mowing the lawn, you know. All right. So I'm going to just put some dots. So far, let me get in close. Looks like a good color match for me. This is deep beige. I noticed that the regular beige was probably going to be too light. This does have a fragrance. It's a very light fragrance. It's nothing that I can't handle, but maybe you would have a problem with that. All right, so let's pounce this in with my brush. Yeah, so I'm battling this blemish. I let it heal. I could still feel that there was something underneath it. And what I do is I take 2 cotton Q-tips. And I just work until it all comes to the surface. And it's all out now. It was very much under my skin. It was almost like a milia forming. And I didn't want that, so I took care of it. But so far, this foundation covers up spreads really nicely, has a nice smell to it. It has kind of like a flowery smell. Now, if you are a person that's sensitive to smells, you might not like it. I'm going to use 2 pumps because I didn't have enough to go down my neck. Put some more in these areas here, a little on these spots here. I'm kind of a 2-pump kind of gal. I like coverage, okay? This is what I would call a medium to full coverage. It's buildable, but it's light. It's not heavy. can't beat the price. On Amazon, there are different sellers, so, you know, some sellers are going to charge more depending. I am going to pounce under my eyes a little bit. I am going to pounce over my eyes a little bit. Typically, I don't do that because I use primer. But I didn't want to spend loads and loads of time on other kinds of makeup today. The focus is the foundation. And one of my future videos is going to be a video on the foundations that I've purchased since January. And I will let you know what my top picks are. And then I'll do the same thing at the end of the year. All right. This is super. This is nice. This is nice too. Oh my goodness. Let's get some over these spots that I have. It does not offer me the coverage that the Max Factor offers me, but it's very nice. It is very, very nice. Can you see the sheen? It has a beautiful glow. I don't even think I need to go over it with my sponge. So if you have the same skin tone as me, you will want to go deep beige. Yep, deep beige. 55N. Very affordable foundation. Very nice. I can see me using this in the summertime because it's lightweight. It's really nice. It's already dried down. I'm going to put some under my eyes and see what happens. I'm going to use my finger. I've been doing this a lot lately. You know why? Because if I can eliminate concealer, then I will do that. It blends really nice with your fingers too. Like I said, if you are somebody that has an issue with fragrance, I mean, I can't smell it anymore. I can smell it when I initially put it on. But if you have a problem with fragrance, you might not want to try this. I cannot see without my glasses, so I'm trusting y'all. I'm trusting y'all. Let me get my magnifying mirror. Let me look. All right. There is a little bit of creasing under my eyes. But this is all good stuff to know. I don't see. These are my big, yep, there's some creasing up here. Nothing major though. I was talking about soulmates. I was talking about how difficult it was for my children. But you know what? It was difficult for all of us. And word to the wise, when you are in a vulnerable state, the first thing you want to do is blame. Blame the situation. Blame another person. Blame, blame, blame. And I don't, you know, the saying, there's two sides to every story. And there's also the side in the middle. Everybody comes at their story from their perception. I was coming at the story from my perspective. The kids from their perspective. My husband from his perspective. Outside influences, their perspective. And it's really hard to grow when you're in pain and you're in need of healing. So that aspect of my life was very difficult. One of the situations that I didn't talk to you guys about was merging a family. It was really difficult to merge a family because, again, perspective, right? When you are, if you lose somebody through death and there's children, you've already formed your way of how you want to raise your kids. If you are divorced, same deal. Obviously there were differences, or there wouldn't have been a divorce, or whatever took place. And we each had our own idea of raising children based on our own baggage that we had, based on the ways that we were raised. And it doesn't matter. You don't even have to have a death or divorce. When two people come together, they're both raised differently. So there was that to worry about and discover. That was a biggie. I had my own ideas of how I wanted to raise my children. My parents did not divorce. My parents stayed married. So there was always a firm foundation there. Good, bad, or indifferent. There was a firm foundation there. And then there was the issue of my son, our son together. We had moved in together, my husband and I. We got engaged, and I found out that I was going to have another baby with my new husband. The school that I was working at, after my kids went back to school, in the parochial school, I got a job there as an art teacher. And one of the things that I was brought into the office for was that I was going to have a baby, and I wasn't married yet. And this was a Catholic school. And how would that look to the kids? And I was going to lose my job because of it. So think of that for a minute. Think of that for a minute. Here's the Catholic Church saying that birth control is wrong. You're supposed to be married first. Yet I find, and oh my goodness, no abortions. I find out I'm going to have a baby. I'm teaching at a Catholic school, and I get told well, this isn't going to be good for the kids. So I said to my administrator, okay, let me get this straight. So I can go out and get an abortion, not tell anybody. I was still within that range where I could have gotten an early abortion, not told anybody. Y'all know I'm living with my husband. Y'all know I'm engaged. Could have gotten an abortion, come back to work, and worked here, and that would have been okay. Because nobody would see that my stomach is growing. Right? I got the abortion. That's a big no. But here I am bringing life into the world, choosing to keep my child, going to raise it, but I'm going to lose my job because I'm having this child. How hypocritical. I would rather be out in the open and say, I'm going to have a baby. You know, we're having a child. We're going to love this child. We're going to raise this child. The kids are excited. But it's not going to look good. It's not going to look good. It's not going to set a good example. Okay. Now what? Well, we're going to have to let you go unless you get married. So I'm like, okay, now I'm being pushed into getting married. So I went home and I talked to my fiance, present husband now, and I said, I don't know what to do. I'm going to lose my job. What I should have said was, see you later, alligator. But I didn't. Because old traditions, old conditioning, it takes a long time for that to filter out. And my husband said, well, we'll just get married. We'll up the date. We'll get married. And I'm like, are you sure about that? Yeah, I'm sure about that. I'm like, okay, are you sure about that? Yeah, I'm sure about that. But really neither one of us was too sure. I mean, we knew we wanted to get married, but now it's being rushed. And it didn't need to be. If I had a job working for the town, or I had a job working at a supermarket, they could have cared less. Sign number 2. So, we got married that June on Father's Day weekend. And the school allowed us to use the one of the venues to have the reception. Yeah. So that was the beginning of a long journey. Fast forward to 2002. And I was my body was changing hormonally. And we made a vow. We were going to raise the kids in our faith, because he was Catholic too. We were going to raise the kids in our faith. We were going to go to church. We were going to make sure that they received all their sacraments. And I started to experience some things and saw a lot of hypocrisy. A lot of it. Within myself, but also within other people that went to my church. And I began to question everything that That's one of the first signs of awakening, is questioning. And a lot of times, an awakening will happen with an event, a very specific event. It could be the death of somebody. It could be a life-changing occupation. It could be being hurt really badly, emotionally. So many reasons. Well, at this time of my life, I had 3 teenagers. My oldest getting ready to go off to college. And then 2 small children. My stepson came part-time, and then we had the baby. And he was about, I'd say, 3 or 4 years old, 5 years old. And my kids were moving into adulthood here, experiencing relationships. And the 2 of us, you would think, would have been able to fix a lot of these issues, but they were ongoing. They were ongoing. Now I'm still persevering. Well, life moved on. The boys are in school now, and kids are moving through college. And around 2002, I had a situation that happened. I'm not going to talk about the situation itself because I don't want to hurt anybody. But I had a situation that happened that really cut me to the core. It was actually a couple of situations that they compounded one another. And I was literally I think I had a breakdown, but because I just kept moving forward, I cried for 2 straight months. Thank God at that time, my customers were not home. By the grace of God. Like, it just worked out that they were, either traveling for their job, they weren't home. And I was going to their houses and doing what I needed to do and crying all the way through it. And around 2009, I made the decision that I needed to take a trip. One of my daughters was traveling, and she gave me some money as a gift to go visit her. So I was gone for about a week, and I did a lot of journaling and a lot of soul searching. And I came home, and I decided that I wasn't going to go to church anymore. So this was around 2009. A lot happened in the course of these 7 years. But I could see myself changing. I could see myself getting stronger but weaker at the same time. And I didn't know how to navigate through this. So I made the decision that I was going to stop going to church with my husband and my 2 sons. They could go. I was going to stay home because I wanted to know if this God that I donated my life to checked off all the boxes, did all the right things, made my mistakes, was repentant, was going to love me no matter what. Because I didn't want to serve a taskmaster. You don't grow that way. You're just kind of like going through the motions, doing what you do. So I stayed home on my porch in that hour drank my coffee, and at that time I had taken up cigarette smoking because I was a nervous freaking wreck. And I would have my cigarette and I would sip my coffee and I would meditate. And I began to get all these unusual messages. And I wrote them down in my computer. I had a pad of paper and I would write, like, I would hand scratch, like, as fast as I could, these messages. And then I would input them in my computer to keep them. Now, I didn't know anything about the law of attraction. I didn't know anything about the universal laws. I didn't know anything about any of this stuff. Yet, it was in here. It was given to me. What do? Call that evil? It was the most awakening, enlightening time of my life. That I could receive these messages by something bigger than me, and they made sense. Like one of the messages that I got, because I didn't know how to navigate the way I was feeling, was to view myself like outside of myself, looking in. And I was given a wheel, like a bicycle wheel. There's the hub in the center and here's the spokes. Get out of the hub and be on the outside. And go around and watch what's going on in the center. Watch it. Take yourself out of that initial situation and observe it. Don't react to it. Don't give it any unnecessary attention. Observe it. And those messages became part of my card deck when I started to paint soul auras at different venues. God, the universe, source, the creator, infinite intelligence, whatever you want to call it, knows. And also knows that you are where you are for a reason. And all you need to do is to be willing to answer that call. And say, yeah, I'm willing. I have all these questions and I need answers and I'm not getting my answers. And I know that there's something bigger than me. And it's not an organization. It's so intelligent. It's beyond mind-blowing. And that is one of the first signs of awakening, is when you start to question yourself, who you are, your motives for doing things, other people's motives for you. Yeah. That's one of the first signs that you are beginning to awaken to the possibility that there is so much more intelligent life force says to guide you, to direct you, to give you hope, clarity, and to move you into your divine purpose. Then it gets a little crazy. So at that point, I decided I was going to take some classes. And I was up against a lot because there are people that believe that this kind of thing is evil. And I wanted to believe that, and I do believe, that we all have that innate goodness, that spark within us. And when we allow ourselves to be tugged in all these different directions or being told this and that and this and that, and we don't allow ourselves to grow. Now you can come full circle. You can do both. You can stay going where you're going and still grow and still awaken. Doesn't have to be like me. But I wanted answers. And I'm going to end this part right here. And the last part will be part 10. One day I was sitting out on my front porch. Remember I told you in the last video that my husband saw a hawk feather? I was sitting out on my porch because I was being told that what I was doing was wrong, was evil. And I says, God, please send me a sign. I need a sign. I need to know that I'm thinking clearly, that I'm behaving clearly, that I'm feeling that I'm supposed to be where I am today, moving forward. And I have a farmer's porch, and it's all open. It's not screened in. And I'm sitting out on the couch that we had out on our front porch, which was like a rattan couch with cushions. And I glanced, for some reason, I was impressed to glance to the left, and down from the sky came a white feather. This way, this way, this way. I could have reached my hand out and let that feather land on my hand. It was that close. But I let it go to the ground, and I went out and I picked up that feather. And I knew. That was my guardian angel saying to me, let go of the worry. Let go of it. You're on the path you're supposed to be on. And the rest of my story will confirm all of this. I don't think there's anything wrong with going to church. Church is good. What I don't like, and I don't agree with, is the control. Church is a place for people that need healing. And you cannot be healed if you're being told, if you don't do this, you're going to hell. When you have an awakening, your conscience opens up. You're going to feel your conscience at work. You don't really need anybody else telling you what you're doing is wrong. And by the way, them telling you what you're doing is wrong is wrong. They do it because they love you, because they care about you, and they think that what they're doing or saying is right. But everybody has their own path and their own journey. And the greatest of these is love. Jesus wouldn't have healed the sick, made the deaf hear, the mute speak, the blind see, if he did not love them. Didn't even know who these people were. Your faith healed you. Your faith. It wasn't like Jesus was saying, I did this, everybody. Your faith healed you. Your belief healed you. Your experience healed you. So that's how I'm going to leave my story today. And put the rest of my makeup on. Do another affirmation card for today. And I'll see you in a bit. Okay, everybody, here's the finished look. It really was very simple. You saw me put on my foundation, my blush. And I used this blush in this palette for eyeshadow. Love this color for eyeshadow. It really pops green eyes. And then I used this bronzer again to kind of blend the two together. I love this foundation too. So I'm going to put this to a wear test like I did the Max Factor. But I am going to powder it around my nose a little bit. I'm just using my tea tree that you can't get anymore. But you can use any translucent setting powder. And I'm going to do the T-zone. I'm not oily, but this is where I have wrinkles. And I'm also going to powder a little bit under my eye. Let's pull an affirmation card. I'm going to be using my Messages of Light cards. Shuffle them so you can see. I think it's important that you see me shuffling. Okay? So you know that I'm not just picking these cards myself. Okay, see how that one's sticking out? There's a couple more. There's another one. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fan these. And this one here is sticking out higher than the rest. So that's the one I'm going to choose. Perfect. Perfect. Let me go back a little bit here. This card is called The Path of Light. That's the awakening. That's the awakening. The light that is in you, that was given to you from the first light that came into the dark void. A spark of that is in you. God, infinite spirit, infinite intelligence, creator, God, source. Call it what you want. Divine origin. Let me read. The path of light. Life places the perfect people and situations on my path to help me advance on my journey of inner growth. In spite of all obstacles, I have the courage. I become aware of my life's experiences and I study them wisely in order to improve myself. I choose to grow in faith, and I am confident that at the end of my road, I will join the light. Perfect. Perfection. That light, make no bones about it, lives inside of all of you. Look for it. Embrace it. Know it. Until next time, my friends. You really do know I love you, don't you? Take care.